Welcome children. Take out the Civics book, Elections and this Election Commission. Today's topic is kinds of election, direct and indirect. The voters choose their representative for a varying numbers of voters. How they choose their representative? For a varying number of years. The term of Lok Sabha is 5 years and the term of Lok Sabha it is 5 years. If it is not dissolved earlier, now time of Lok Sabha is 5 years if it is not dissolved earlier. Members of Rajya Sabha and Vidhan Parishad, State Legislative Council have a 6 years, and members of Rajya Sabha and Vidhan Parishad, that is State Legislative Council, they have a 6-year term. President of India holds the office for a term of 5 years. As the term of the office of the Vice President is also 5 years. The process of election may be direct or indirect. Now, the President of India as well as the Vice President of India, their term of the office is 5 years, and the process of election, it is either direct or indirect. Now, what is this direct election? Direct election is one in which the voters directly choose their representatives in the legislature. Now, direct election is one. What happened? In it, the voters directly choose their representatives in the legislature. In other words, they do not elect some intermediaries but actually vote for the person to represent them in the parliament. Now, in other words, what happened? These voters, what they do not do? They do not elect some of the intermediaries, but actually what they do? They vote for the persons to represent them in the parliament or the state assemblies or a local body. As the case may be, members of the Lok Sabha in India are directly elected by all the people who have the right to vote. Now, members of Lok Sabha in India, how they are elected? They are elected directly by all the people who have the right to vote. Likewise, members of State Legislative Assembly, that is the Vidhan Sabha, they are directly elected by the people of the state concerned. Members of local bodies, that is Gram Panchayat and Municipal Corporation, they are also elected by the voters. Indirect election. An indirect election is one which the voters do not directly elect their representatives to the legislatures or the head of the state. Now, an indirect election, what is it? It is one in which voters, they do not directly elect the representatives to the legislature or the head of the state, but the president. But elect an intermediate body which finally proceeds to elect the representatives of the president in the case may be. But what they do? They elect one intermediate body. Finally, what happens? They proceed to elect the representatives of the president as the case may be. A few examples of indirect election. Now, some examples of indirect election. What are these? The members of the Rajya Sabha. Number B, that is the members of the State Legislative Council, that is the Vidhan Parishad, and number C, the President of the state, and number D, that is the Vice President of India. Now, few examples. What are some few examples? That is the indirect elections. Examples of indirect. That is the members of Rajya Sabha, the members of State Legislative Council, that is the Vidhan Parishad, and the President of India and the Vice President. Now, Rajya Sabha. Its members falls into two categories. Members of Rajya Sabha are divided into two categories. One is nominated and the other is elected. The nominated members are 12. Now, 12 nominated members are there in the Rajya Sabha. They are nominated by the president, and the members and these nominated members, they are nominated by the president. The elected members are regarded as representatives of the state and the elected members, they are regarded as the representatives of the state and the union territory. People do not directly elect the members of the Rajya. Now, people do not directly elect these members of the Rajya Sabha. They are elected by the members of Legislative Assembly of each state. How they are elected? They are elected by the members of Legislative Assembly of each state. The representatives of the union territory shall be chosen in manners as Parliament may prescribe. Now, representatives of this union territory, what they shall be chosen, how they shall be chosen? They shall be chosen in manner the Parliament, how they are prescribed. Legislative Council, that is the Vidhan Parishad. At present, the states of Andhra Pradesh, Bihar, Karnataka, Maharashtra, Uttar Pradesh and Jammu and Kashmir have a Legislative Council. Now, presently what happens? States of Andhra Pradesh, that is Bihar, Karnataka, Maharashtra, Uttar Pradesh and Jammu and Kashmir, what they have? They have Legislative Council. The Andhra Pradesh Legislative Council is abolished with effect from 1st June 1985. Now, Andhra Pradesh Legislative Council, how they are established? They were established with an effect from 1st June 1985. But it was created in January 2000. But when it was recreated, it was recreated in the year 2006. While members of state legislative assembly are elected by the people themselves, the election to the legislative councils are now members of state legislative council. What they are elected? They are elected by the people themselves, and the elections of the legislative council they are also conducted indirectly. About 1/3 of its members are elected by the members of the legislative council. Now, about 1/3 of the members, how they are elected? They are elected by the members of the legislative council, and another third are elected by the members of local. And another third, how they are elected? They are elected by the members of local body, municipal corporation, panchayat, district boards, etc. 1/12 of the members are elected by the person engaged in teaching in educational institution, and another 1/12 be registered graduates of more than 3 years. Now, 1/12 of this member, how they are elected? They are elected by the person who are engaged in teaching in educational institution, and another 1/12 they are 1/12 by the registered graduates of more than 3 years standing. The remaining 1/6 they are nominated by the government. Remaining 6 the governor nominates them. Now take out your diary, write elections and election commission, topic kinds of election, direct and indirect, explain, homework, revise it. And with this I am ending my today's class. Goodbye.